I'm 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝐽𝐝. I'm the director of Murphy Writing, and I'm here to offer a little haiku writing workshop. My hope is that this could be an interactive workshop, so if you'd like to join us in our Zoom room so that you can talk about haiku and share what you write, we would love to have you. So I think that Mike is going to be sharing the link in the chat if you're in the main 48 blocks room, so you can hop on over. But while you get settled, I'll go ahead and get us started. So the first question is, what is a haiku? And many of you likely already know a little bit about what a haiku is, but think about what is it that you've learned about what a haiku is. I bet that what you know about it is that it's a very small poem, usually just 3 lines, and it follows a syllable pattern. And what that means is that you can count the number of sounds in each line, and you probably know that it goes 5, 7, 5. So 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second line, and 5 in the third line. The trick is that's not actually always true, which we will see in some of the haiku that we're going to take a look at today, especially because you might know that haiku come from Japan, and rhythm and syllable counts are different in Japan than in the US or in English. So a lot of haiku that are translated, they don't actually follow that pattern, and we don't always have to follow that pattern even if we're writing in English ourselves. The other question is, what goes in a haiku? I think a lot of us, when we're taught about haiku at school, we learn about the 5, 7, 5 thing. We learn that it's got 3 lines, but we don't always learn like what the heck do you write a haiku about? You might have learned that haiku are often about nature, and that can be true, but I think especially if we look at who is writing haiku around the world, that you might see a whole range of different things that can show up in a haiku. So a haiku presents us with an image that captures the essence of a moment. And I want you to take a minute to think about what that means. An image that captures the essence of a moment. What do you think that means? I think that that means that a haiku is going to really distill down what it is that the haiku writer is thinking or feeling in a particular moment in a sensory way. That, I think, is the important thing. You could also have a haiku that has kind of 2 images that speak to each other, that resonate, but that's the real thing, an image that captures the essence of a moment. So I want us to look at a couple of example haiku. I've tried to find some examples that I think show some different kinds of essences of different kinds of moments. Again, I think we often learn about haiku as these kind of beautiful images of nature, perhaps, but we don't always learn them as other kinds of moods or feelings, but I'll show you some examples. So the first is from Robert Haas, and he's a translator of haiku as well as a writer of his own. And his little haiku here: blossoms at night, like people moved by music. Blossoms at night, like people moved by music. So you can see that we've got our 3 lines here. They don't follow that 5, 7, 5 pattern strictly. Blossoms at night, we've got 4. Like people, only 3. And then 4 again, moved by music. So he's already breaking the rules. We're breaking the rules a little bit here today. But I think this is a really beautiful haiku that starts with this image, blossoms at night. Suddenly I'm transported, I'm outside, I'm near a flowering tree or some flowering bushes. And then like people moved by music. I want you to think for a minute, what's the feeling that you get from that? haiku, because we might have different feelings. But so think about it. What do you feel when you hear that haiku? Blossoms at night, like people moved by music. I feel kind of the beauty of that image, but it also feels a little lonely almost, a little sad. Blossoms at night, like people moved by music. Like I'm seeing this poet here alone, thinking of these blossoms as like people, because maybe the poet's alone, wishing that there was a crowd around him. So it's a feeling, it's a mood, it's that moment looking at these blossoms. Here's another one that's really different. This is by Etheridge Knight. In the August grass, struck by the last rays of sun, the cracked teacup screams. In the August grass, struck by the last rays of sun, the cracked teacup screams. So there too, what do you feel from that haiku? And hi, Jordan, welcome. If you would like to share, feel free. In the August grass, struck by the last rays of sun, the cracked teacup screams. So I'm picturing, when I hear that haiku, I feel there's like intensity, maybe some anger. I'm picturing like an abandoned lot with this abandoned cracked teacup in it. And there's such powerful words here: struck by the last rays of sun, not touched by the last rays of sun, not warmed by the last rays of sun, but struck by the last rays of sun. And then the cracked teacup screams. Again, even just the sounds, cracked teacup screams. I think that's a really powerful image. This moment is really different than the Robert Haas poem moment, right? The Robert Haas poem, kind of beautiful, thoughtful, looking at flowers. Here, the poet seems to be in a very different kind of landscape, feeling some pain, some anger. We don't really know the story of this teacup, but we can feel something there, I think. So let's look at one more. This one, again, a new mood. This is by a classic Japanese haiku poet, Kobayashi Issa. Mosquito at my ear. Does he think I'm deaf? Mosquito at my ear. Does he think I'm deaf? So again, think about what does this haiku make you feel? I think this is a pretty, it's summertime, and where I am, there's lots of mosquitoes every time I sit on my porch. And this haiku captures that, the essence of that feeling for me, sitting on the porch, feeling so irritated by this mosquito. And this is it's a simple little haiku. It almost feels like a joke to me. And some of, actually, again, we have this idea, I think, that haiku are about nature, beautiful kinds of images. But in fact, this is a very classic old haiku by a Japanese haiku master. And it's funny, right? It's like a little joke. Mosquito at my ear. Does he think I'm deaf? I love too that we personify the mosquito a little bit here. The mosquito is given human qualities, which is really very similar if we look at all three of these haiku. We see the world kind of brought to life. So here we've got the cracked teacup who screams. We've got the blossoms moving like people moved by music. And we've got that mosquito who's a he. The mosquito at my ear, does he think I'm deaf? So all three of these haiku, really different feelings, really different styles. Like the Etheridge Knight haiku is the most descriptive. We've got cracked teacup struck by the last rays. There's just more to this one than this really thin, spare 𝗂𝐻 haiku, but they're all doing that same thing that we said a haiku should do, which is present us with an image that captures the essence of a particular moment. So without further ado, unless anyone would like to share anything, any of their responses to those haiku so far, I think what we're going to do now is turn to a little bit of writing. So here's how it's going to work. Our job as poets who are trying to write these haiku that capture the essence of a moment, the first thing we have to do is really get ourselves into this moment, wherever we find ourselves. And we're all here, we're not all in the same place. Often when I teach a writing workshop, we're all in the same room. But here, we were all in different rooms. I don't know what your room looks like. You can see mine, but I can't see anybody else's. So we're all in different places. Maybe some of you are in Atlantic City. Maybe you're in other parts of New Jersey. I'm here in Philadelphia. Maybe you're somewhere far. Maybe there's people from around the world. I don't know where you are. But the point is, we're all in different places. We're all in different moments that are shared in time, but different in what we're sort of feeling, what we're thinking, and where physically we are. So to help us kind of tune in with what's around us, I'm going to lead you in a little like guided meditation. Don't be scared if you don't think you like meditation. It'll be chill. But do now, so that you're ready to write, grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper, anything that you can use to write with, so that you're ready when we're there. And I have some text on the slides in case you prefer reading to listening, but I encourage you, if you're into it, I'll ask you to close your eyes in a minute. Okay, so let's take a minute to kind of get still, get grounded, and help us write. So close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths. If you can, where you're sitting, put your feet on the ground and sit up straight, a little straighter than you were. Take a deep breath in through your nose and then let it out of your mouth. Now do another one. See if you can feel your feet on the ground. If it's on carpet or hardwood, if you're wearing socks or shoes. See if you can feel what you're sitting on. I'm sitting on like a hardwood chair, but see what you're sitting on. See if you can feel right where your body kind of sits on that chair, if you're leaning back, or if you're sitting on the ground. Take another deep breath. And now I want you to start to tune in to what's around you. So see what you hear. You might hear people talking in the other room. You hear my voice. See if you notice anything else. Something outside. Or your air conditioner. And now I want you to notice, how does your body feel? And what does your body feel? Do you feel scratchy carpet? Do you feel an itch on your arm? Do you feel the soft fur of your cat, maybe? And can you smell anything where you are? It might not be much, or it might be something. Maybe a candle from yesterday. Maybe your lunch. And how about can you taste anything? You taste your toothpaste maybe, or again, the remnants of your lunch Now, keep your eyes closed. I want you to also check in. What do you notice inside yourself? What's going on in your mind? Are there any thoughts that keep popping up? Are you like, this is stupid? That's okay. Just what do you notice? You feel grumpy? Do you feel excited? Do you feel bored? Hungry? See what's going on in there. And now I want you to slowly open your eyes and wiggle your feet a little bit. You're kind of coming back to life. And I want you to just take a good long look around you and notice everything that's in the room or the space wherever you are. Sometimes, especially in quarantine times, we're looking at the same stuff all the time. We might not notice everything, but try and really notice some things you don't usually look at. Now, I want you to pick up your paper and your pencil, and I want you to make a big list. So I'm going to set a timer. What I want you to do is make a list of all the observations you can, relying on all 5 senses if you can. So write down things you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch that are right here in this world, this room, wherever you are. I'll tell you when to stop. 10 more seconds. Get a few more things down. Okay, so now you should have a list of images, but like we've been saying, a haiku is more than just the images themselves. It's an image that contains the essence of a moment. But now you've got some ideas for some stuff that might be around you that might be able to help you write your haiku. I'm curious to know what kinds of things were on your list. I found myself noticing all kinds of stuff I don't usually pay attention to, like my phone charger. That popped up on my list. So I'm curious what kind of stuff you found around you. And I felt like suddenly I could keep going forever just making a list. But we're not just listing. We're going to write haiku. So here's your next step. I'm going to set a timer for about 10 minutes. So I want you to give it a shot writing at least one haiku. And how I want you to do this is start with your list and choose one or maybe two of the things that you've observed. And I want you to describe the thing in a haiku that makes us feel what you're feeling or think what you're thinking. So whatever kind of came up for you when we were doing that little meditation and I said, what are you feeling or what are you thinking? What is it that's on your mind today? Again, even if it's that you feel a little bored, a little meh, maybe if you feel excited, maybe frustrated, like the mosquito one. Oh, Jordan, you said that one makes you feel frustrated. Yeah, what was it that you felt or that you feel in this moment right now today? And try and make us feel that in the way you describe this thing that you observed. So try to make it a haiku, put it in 3 lines. You can do that 5-7-5 syllable thing if you want, but like we saw, actually that doesn't always hold up. But try to capture the essence of the moment in your haiku. So you'll have about 10 minutes now to write. If you find that you're on a roll, write a couple. And if anyone would like to share, you're invited to like I said, in about 10 minutes. So you can join us in this Zoom room to share, or you could post your little haiku if you'd like on the Facebook event for this or in the chat here. So 10 minutes, give it your best shot. I'll write a couple too. give it another minute or so. Try and squeeze out one more if you can. Minute or so. Okay, so we're going to try sharing. I think that there's a little lag between our room here and the Zoom room for the event, but we're going to start. I will go ahead and read a haiku by Jordan, who's here in the Zoom room with us. This is a very timely haiku. I'm going to read it for you twice. I cannot see you. My lenses fog with each breath. Oh, the joys of masks. I cannot see you. My lenses fog with each breath. Oh, the joys of masks. I think that's a really awesome pandemic haiku. It makes me feel the annoyance of putting your mask on with your glasses on, and that's a very particular feeling. I love too that the first line is, I cannot see you, emphasizing like not just this is annoying, but also it's disconnecting us from other people. I cannot see you. My lenses fog with each breath. Oh, the joys of masks. I'm gonna close our screen. So I've got a couple more coming into me, very high tech here today. So I'm going to read, here's another one. Dried seed pods landing on the sun-faded canvas of their umbrella. I'll read that one. I'll read that one 2 more times. Dried seed pods landing on the sun-faded canvas of their umbrella. That's a really beautiful, simple one by someone whose name I don't have, but I'm grateful for, from Joyce. So I love in that one, dried seed pods. We get this image of something kind of past its season, maybe on the sun-faded canvas. There too, like I'm picturing a sort of not super desolate, but a little bit of sadness, a little bit of the end of the season, things fading. That's a really beautiful one too. Let me see if we've got any others coming in from the chat. I'll share you one of mine. This is a strange object near me. 2 brown acorns sleep in a blue and gold box covered with dust. Two brown acorns sleep in a blue and gold box covered with dust. I spent a little while, I crossed out, it took me a little while to get to sleep there, but I was inspired by those haiku we looked at earlier that personify the things around us. So I think it's cool that the ones that you all shared did that a little bit too. Okay, I'll give another minute if anybody else has one to share. And if there's no one else to share, I do invite you, if you just want to share the text, even if you don't want to read or have your haiku read aloud. We've got a little Facebook event for this event, Haiku and You. And so if you wanted to post it there so people can take a look at it, you're welcome. If you just want to keep it to yourself, that's totally okay too. But I'm really grateful to all of you who tuned in to write with us today, wherever you are. I hope, even if you're like, I don't know if haiku's for me, I hope that the little practice of taking a minute to slow down, ground yourself, kind of look around, helped you think about how you might move through the world. And if you're a writer, the fact that there's actually inspiration around us all the time, even if it might not feel like it. You can make a poem, even if it's a small poem, maybe out of just about anything. So that's what I've got for you all today. Like I said, I hope that you had fun, and I hope that this was useful for you, and that we'd love to read your haiku if you want to share them in the Facebook event. I hope that everybody has a really great rest of your Saturday. I know I'm going to be tuning into more of the 48 Blocks stuff, so I'm sure you'll be over there. And thank you again. Thanks to 48 Blocks and to Mike and to my colleague Taylor for helping us run this today. And thank you to you all for taking a little time out of your day for poetry.